Sunday brunch. Sunday brunch.
And we're live. Sunday brunch.
Welcome back
to Sunday brunch. Pour yourself a mimosa and brunch along with us. Another clink for good health. Clink. This is not a mimosa. What is this, Justin?
This is podunk. Unofficial Moscato Sangria based on the Chart House recipe. Meg looked at it. It said Moscato and mango rum. All you need.
Delicious. Very yummy.
Here's our co-host Santa Claus.
The Splits is crazy.
The Splits is crazy. That's how he gets down those chimneys.
Cider. We've already had a drink. Just one drink.
One margarita.
It was strong.
It wasn't meant to be a margarita, but that's what was brought to us. Gotta say though, all that food, it was like $50. It's good.
That's pretty good. Honestly, for two meals, that's like pretty good.
One DoorDash order in New York City.
Honestly, no, I think that's like, and it wasn't like we were going for like fast food, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like we were having
a dinner.
A dinner. We should have a clink counter.
Clink counter. Take a shot.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, literally. Woo!
So today we watched our The Addams Family.
Yeah.
That we were in. Not the movie. A recording of our high school musical.
Yeah.
What are your initial thoughts on it?
It's just one of those things that at the time you're like, this is peak. This is my peak. And then you get older and wiser and you look back and you go, it was not.
The opposite of.
And it, in the grand scheme of high school shows, probably pretty good, but
I literally was like, at the time, I was we are geniuses.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be on a Tony stage. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, wow, this is it.
Yeah, I remember always being in school, like, I'm so shocked that Colorado Thespian Society isn't asking us to perform at the main stage at ThesCon, because we're right up there.
And then we watch it, and I'm like,
But also, I think there's something to be said about how not funded the Golden High School Theater program was.
I agree. Mm-hmm. If there is anything that can be said about our program, we really made it happen with very little. Mm-hmm. And I've always felt very prideful of that. Like, I really do think for every issue we kind of had, we really kind of made it work.
Oh, yeah.
Because there were years where I was like, are we even going to have a production? And we always made it happen. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It always turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to, which... As I also want to say, like, the Addams Family was our freshman year, so that's a very different experience than like a later production. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's Hey, you played a lead though.
I did.
I was unnamed ghost number 27.
Ding. Should I add a clink sound effect?
Sure.
That'd be a little labor intensive, but I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
Addams Family, a retrospective.
Yes.
But all of high school, it's at the time you're like, wow, this is so important and meaningful. And then you get out of it and you're like, that didn't really matter that much.
But it did matter to us, you know what I mean? I think that's good. That's how I feel about a lot of things in college. Like, I was like this. Mainly, my collegiate sketch comedy group, hold your applause, please. I really, it mattered so much to me. And in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter at all. But it meant so much to me and changed me so much and made me lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I feel like high school theater is a similar concept. Again, so dramatic to say this, but at the time it was the most important thing we were doing. And I had a great time doing it, or else I wouldn't have kept doing it. You know what I mean?
I agree. Love it.
If you could have had any production, if you could have picked anything for us to do, what would you have picked?
At the time, for some reason, I was like, it would be so cool to do West Side Story, but like looking back, that wouldn't have really worked because we were all white.
We also, I don't think, had like we didn't have the choreography that I think would have been
can you imagine?
I just think there's a lot of ways we got around that. I don't think we could have gotten around it for that. You know what I mean?
What else did I enjoy? I don't know. That's the other thing about me is that I feel like I don't, even though I was very into theater, I don't really know a lot of shows, at least off the top of my head.
No,
if you like showed me them, I'd be like, oh yeah, but like, I don't really think about them very much.
That's fair.
Did I tell you about my viewing of Danny and the Deep Blue Sea?
No, please.
It's good.
Good.
Aubrey Plaza spoke in an Italian accent the whole time, and she's
Love
like,
it.
I just want you to take me home because I'm crazy. I'm so crazy. I'm so crazy, baby. Danny, take me home. I'm so crazy. I just need you to have sex with me, Danny. I'm so crazy. And he was like, I'm fucking crazy too, and I'm also Italian. I'm so crazy. And then they had sex on stage, and I was like, it was through clothing. There was less stuff to be imagined. Like it was like silhouette, and then they're like in bed the next morning, and she's like, I'm actually not crazy. Get out of my apartment. I don't know. It was good. I would see it again, but I probably won't. Anyway, but what show would you have picked?
That one. That sounds awesome.
That would have been intense for high school Diane.
Lucky though, we picked some intense choices. Like Mad Woman of Chaillot. I was the lead, and I don't know why we did that. Also, what does that say about me? The only lead I was able to ever be was a crazy person. Fucked up. Anyways. No.
I think going into it, I was like, oh, it's so like eccentric and fun, and I'm like, Mercedes would love to be eccentric and fun, and then we got into it, and I was like, poor Mercedes.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, it was like, at the level we were at, it was not correct for us. It was a little too, like, again, like how I said, like, if we were, like, in college and, like, studying theater or, like, something, it would have made a lot more sense. But the fact that we were, like, in high school did not make a lot of sense. And also, because of that, I think a lot of the meaning was lost on the people who were in the cast. And being the Mad Woman of Chaillot, I had so many just pages and pages and pages and pages of lines that at one point I was just memorizing and I was not intaking anything. Like, I know the general plot, but also, like, there were aspects of it that you could ask me right after a scene was done, and it was just muscle memory speaking. I wasn't actually, like, saying anything. Yeah, I've not thought about the Mad Woman of Chaillot in a long time, just because it was so, like, just strange. And it's funny, Lily, my friend from college, her school also did Mad Woman of Chaillot the year we did it, because it had been put onto, like, the whatever, and you could purchase the rights or whatever. It's just a weird choice. I would have liked to do Grease. That would have been fun. That's just, like, a very purely, like, it's a fun musical. Yeah. And everybody has seen it, so I feel like it's kind of like, you have fun. Like, the audience would have had fun because it's, like, well known, you know? Yeah, there were always a lot of, mainly the plays. I was always like, this is weird that we're picking this.
Yeah, they were very abstract.
Yeah. But
fun, nonetheless.
So, who was your crush in theater?
I don't think.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Kissing.
Always you, baby. Yeah, on the bed. No.
Whoa.
I want you to acknowledge that we're back where we started, on the bed.
You can edit all of that before out. We are. We're back on the bed. Our first episode was allegedly on the bed. Although I don't think... Did we film that, though?
No, but it was... You mentioned it. Well, you go... We're sitting here on Justin's bed in a friend way, of course.
And we still are. It's great. Wow. What year was that? Was that after?
It was 2020. Because we were bored in the pandemic and we're like, let's start a podcast.
So we had, like, just graduated high school, which is insane because now we're out of college. And I can't believe that. Like, time flies when you're having fun. How about we crack open
How
these
about?
Tate's cookies?
Here, let me do it.
Okay.
Let me crack. Ow, my butt. Oh. Mama say, mama sa, mama kusa. I had to sing that in choir.
I remember singing that too. Weird. Why did we
Pops
do that,
concert.
you know?
Oh, they
Forgot
are
about the
open.
Pops concert.
Do you want one or two to start off? Two?
Why not?
I'll take the other two.
We'll throw them in the center.
That was, yeah. Okay.
I've only ever had these here at your house.
Delightful. I've had them here and maybe at Gert's once.
People love these things.
They do.
The hoes love a Tate's cookie. The hoes.
The
Cheers. The clink meter is off the charts. What else can we talk about? No!
He's dead. What was your favorite item you received this Christmas?
Ooh, good question. I was very lucky this Christmas, I think. I received some very kind things from my family. I got a pair of these boots that I enjoyed. Very in right now, the motorcycle boots. Got some of those. Wore them today. Very comfortable. Just needed a pair of, like, black boots. Standard black boots. You know what I mean? What about you? What was your favorite thing?
Well, it was like an unofficial Christmas gift, as I did. I did get a new computer that Megan John took care of half. So thanks, Megan John.
That's nice.
That my last one died, or it crashed just from opening it one day, and I said,
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, so it was time. And then,
Definitely.
But my favorite thing I opened on Christmas, well, probably that blanket that I can hook it
What's
around.
it called?
The marshmallow blanket. And then John also got me a copy of The Shining. I think it's John. That makes sense
The
because he's a
book?
big, he's a big Stephen King guy.
Really?
So, and I've never seen The Shining. I've never read The Shining, so I'm excited to read The Shining.
It's a spooky little time. I've gotten like halfway through the book and it was fine. I've never seen the movie though, honestly. I just never got around to it. We gotta
Have you
watch
been to the hotel?
it. I haven't, have you?
I have.
Really?
I took the ghost tour during the day.
Was it spooky?
No, because it was during the day. But
Yeah. I know, I'm kinda with stuff like that, it's kinda like I feel like you're expecting so much that you don't actually end up getting a paranormal experience.
I was looking on all the mirrors.
Nothing.
I think sometimes it has to be a photo.
That's fair. Have you ever had a paranormal experience? Like, has there anything ever happened to you?
I've had lots of like weird coincidences happen where it's like that seems planned a little bit from outside of me, but no, I haven't had like a classic ghost, alien, etc. There's been times where Meg and I are on the deck drinking a little and say, it's a UFO, and really it's probably a satellite. But how about you?
You know, I kind of want something to happen to me because it's never happened. I've also talked to my grandmother at length about this. She's very old, and it's one of those things where it's like she was always like, if ghosts were real, something would have already happened. You know what I mean? I think so much of the time there's like stuff that happens where you're like, oh, this house was built over a graveyard, and because you have that expectation of fear, things start happening because of it. I feel like seeing figures and stuff a lot of times is like sleep, like paralysis or whatever, or like having really vivid dream that you can't really like dictate from reality. I'm not saying it's not real, I'm just saying it's never happened to me. So there's not really a way I can be like, yes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think this house is haunted?
No. There's one down the road more that
they say is haunted.
Why?
Because it was built on a graveyard.
Well,
I will say there's been lots of like very strange people that move in there, and it's like always that house that like weird things happen at. But yeah, haven't seen a goat. But
Like
then I'm
what?
like, why is it just that house? If it was a graveyard, it probably doesn't just exist on just that house. Anyway.
like what kind of weird things have happened?
I don't remember too much. I just remember one time, like, that was the house that got, like, ambulances and fire trucks to it because someone, like, threatened to kill himself. No, never mind. Anyway,
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like I've just never gotten proof. And, you know, New Orleans, one of the most haunted places in
Right.
the U.S., allegedly. I've lived there for years and nothing has ever happened to me. You know what I mean? Like, which is funny because I feel like before I moved to New Orleans, I had such a notion of like, it's so haunted. And that's just not a presence I've felt while I've been there. I also think when they say New Orleans is so haunted, what they're really referring to is like the French Quarter and places like that that are like really, really old. But I don't know, yeah, I've never had like an issue. I guess I've never stayed really in the French Quarter, so if there was something to happened, it would have happened then. But I mean, I live near the French Quarter and nothing's ever happened. But my house is new-ish, so yeah, I don't know.
Did you know Morrison is the most haunted town in Colorado?
Really?
Supposedly.
Why? Like, what dictates that?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
And there's also like a haunted road somewhere where people will be driving down it and like see stuff.
Whoa.
But I haven't been on that road. But Megan kind of wants to go drive on it.
You
to
guys
see
should,
it.
yeah. I know some people say, like, you know, you see a hitchhiker or something on the side of the road and then they're, like, not there. There was a thing in New Orleans for a bit, and it was also connected to that tsunami that hit Japan. So the tsunami that hit Japan, and then also, like, Katrina, and I'm not trying to speak ill of, like, tragic events, but there was these people who would, like cab drivers in both cities who would, like, pull, like, somebody would, like, hail a cab, and they'd, like, let the person in, and they'd start driving, and then there would be nobody in the cab. It was just, like, one of those things. I don't know, like, and I'm not sure if that was, like, something that can be explained by, like, oh, you're a cab driver, and, like, you are thinking a lot about, like, getting people into your cab, and, like, you're hallucinating, and, like, you've gone through a crazy tragic experience. I don't know. But isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And it was reported in both cities. So, I don't know. Or it would be like, the ghost would, like, get into the cab and be like, take me to this place that doesn't exist anymore because it was destroyed. And then, like, they'd get to the place and they'd be like, the place doesn't exist. And, like, nobody would be there. So, I don't know. Would you ever be a cab driver?
No.
It sounds horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds really hard. So it's not a huge thing outside of, like, major cities anymore, really.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Uber.
Yeah, I feel like I'd rather be like a delivery person than someone driving someone else, because that's kind of a lot of responsibility too.
And I hate driving. Driving sucks. You know what I mean? It's hard.
I like it when I like drive into like more nature where it's like not busy roads.
Yeah.
That's fun. But yeah, especially downtown. Oh, jeez. My gosh. Wow. No.
So true.
Yeah. The Shining. Every time I think of The Shining, I think of, hello, I'm Shelley Duvall. Have you seen those?
Yeah, I
videos?
have seen that. Now that's a sad story. The Shelley Duvall story. Very sad. We won't get into it, but
right.
very sad.
Shout out to how
Shout
sad
out
it
to
is.
Shelley Duvall, though. She's a queen. So what's new?
Vibing.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
Thriving.
As you should.
Arting.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Fair enough.
I bought that tree that is a commitment now. The one I sent you that is like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, but it's a live plant, so it's just part of me now.
Love that. Love that. I know, I guess it is the holiday episode technically.
It is.
Yesterday was Christmas.
Yes.
It's almost New Year's.
It is.
Crazy. So crazy how quickly this year has gone by. You know, like, so fast.
I feel like I always feel that way thinking about like New Year's to New Year's. I'm like, that's fast. But then if I think about other things I did that year, it seems like a very long time ago. Like moving to my apartment I'm in now seems like years ago, but it was just in February.
Yeah. So. I know. Whew, crazy.
And then like even visiting you feels longer than like just a few months ago.
Which is insane. But in a lot of ways too, though, it feels like it just happened. And it did to a certain extent. But it also like, I was like, oh yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago. And it wasn't. Isn't that crazy? Time.
Yeah,
time. Let's talk about her. Time. Who's got it? Who wants it?
Everyone don't got it, and everyone wants a little more.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I know I didn't. Do you want some of my drink?
I'm good. I just chug a little bit, unless you don't want the rest. But
I think I drank too much at the Chart House, which was one singular drink. I have
double fisting.
It's good though. I like it. I just don't know if I can finish it.
I've had probably between 3 and 5 of these every night since I've been here. Gonna need to cleanse a little after this visit, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's the thing is, you know, around the Christmas times, you're drinking a lot.
At your party, I had 2 glasses of bubbly rosé, and then I had a vodka cran that B2 made for me downstairs.
How was it?
It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
She's a surprisingly good bartender, honestly.
Yeah, she's cooking,
as
they say.
She was cooking. She was drinking and cooking. I know I had a tequila sunrise.
I saw her making those, yeah.
It's delightful. I enjoyed it.
I don't think I've had one, but they look fun.
It's delicious.
I realized the other day, I've never had any, like, dark alcohols, like whiskey, bourbon stuff. I've only had, like, clear alcohol and wine, but...
Honestly, unless you really like it, there's not really a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I went on an Irish whiskey tour in Ireland, and it just felt like burning. It didn't actually like taste good. You know what I mean? But some people really like that type of stuff. And who am I to judge?
Yeah.
I'm not one to judge.
Life is a highway, and I want to ride it on that.
Oh, so true. You're so real for that one.
Well, I asked you before.
Yes.
For the fans.
Yes.
Meg and John.
For the fans, Meg and John.
Anything, not just resolutions, but anything you're shooting at for the new year? Anything you want to do?
I mean, I just got a job, so I'm gonna really work hard to kind of have that go smoothly and like learn as fast as I can type of thing. But also like just, you know, taking care of myself and enjoying myself. And, you know, I'm so young and I feel like I'm so like uptight all the time about everything just because it's like, you know, there's just so much to do. And like, I just want to live in the moment and like, you know, I just want to have a year that I can look back on and be like, what a year, you know what I mean? Like, I did what I needed to do, and, like, I enjoyed myself. Yeah. What about you?
Well, what I've been getting into more is instead of still setting goals, I just had a moment of sentience where I was like, whoa, I'm talking to another person right now. Anyway, the book I got you, the author of that, is kind of spiritual but not, I don't know, it's like she talks about things from a spiritual perspective that's like, oh, you wouldn't have thought of that before. And then some other people, and they're more like, think about how you want to feel instead of what you want to do.
Ooh.
And then you can
Ooh.
figure out actions to get closer to those feelings.
I like that.
I think that's what I'm shooting for. This year I want to feel, I think I spent some time setting up some foundations last year. Now I feel less new to New York. I feel more like I have some stuff there.
Definitely.
So now I'm focusing on, I want to create more of a sense of like ease and flow where it feels like things are kind of just moving and I'm not like, you know? And
So true.
And a sense of fun.
Yeah, a sense of whimsy, perhaps.
Yeah. I love a sense of whimsy.
Sense of whimsy.
And a sense of more accomplishment. But I
Yeah.
already feel
Yeah.
accomplished. But let's add on to that.
Here's clink.
Wow, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
No, yeah, I think just like, you know, the world is so big and there's so much to do, and just like doing what you want to do within reason. And I recognize like my privilege in saying that. Like I have the advantage that I can go off and like do cool things, and like, you know, I'm very lucky to have a job in my field, and so are you. And I think that's something that we can like appreciate, but also like go crazy with, you know what I mean? Like it's awesome that we can kind of do what we want to do. We're really lucky to have that. So just having a good year would be fine by me.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd love to schedule in the future, obviously, but hopefully I can find a time to come over to LA.
Yeah.
Since you and other people I know are there.
Woohoo.
Be like, hey, guys.
Do a little show, perhaps.
Do a little show in LA. I haven't done an LA show, but I should, because music capital, kind of. Capitol Records.
Oh, so true. Yeah, there's just so much to do this year. And it's coming up, man. It is coming up. Which is just quite insane. to
Quite
think about.
insane.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite memory from this year? I don't even know if I have an answer to this, but
I don't know if I have
a fond one.
I don't think I have like one specific one that stands out, but I did enjoy the trips I took to visit you. I visited California. I enjoyed all the concerts I went to this year. I only went to like 3 big like 3 bigger name concerts. All others were like people I know. But they were all good.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed opening for Maria at her EP release show, because I actually brought my computer and did like backtracks for it, so it felt more official than just standing with the guitar for like 15 minutes and being like, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
But,
no, that's fair. That's great. Woohoo.
what was your favorite memory?
I don't know. I really enjoyed coming to New York to visit you, but I also enjoyed you visiting me. I think I just like, you know, I'm a little bit out of college at this point, and I think it was nice to just kind of like, you know, experience life outside of that, and like, you know, make my friendships stronger and stuff like that. Like I had a really great time when you came down to New Orleans. I thought that was so much fun, and I enjoyed
I enjoyed the vast amount of tacos we ended up eating. It was like not what I expected, and then I was like, hey,
New Orleans delicacy.
I love a taco. You know?
They were good tacos, honestly.
Good
We had
tacos.
we went to the 2 best places for tacos, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So
Next time you come to me, I'm taking you to a place by me that has tacos, but that's not what I get.
hell yeah, I'm
But I
down.
have great margaritas.
I'm down. I'm into
Great
it.
enchiladas, as the kids say.
Oh, the great enchilada.
Wow.
Wow.
I also, this is a recent thing, but I really enjoyed Kate McKinnon and Billie Eilish on Saturday Night
Yes,
Live. I thought
so
that was
good.
one of the better episodes I've seen.
Yeah, they really, this season, they've done some, honestly, like, really good episodes.
I was looking at, because I was one of the people that, like, between, like, after, like, Kate McKinnon left, and even kind of while she's still there, there's a lot of episodes where it was, like, getting, like, to me, where I was like, this is, like, okay, but, like, I'm not, like, laughing out loud at it. And then I was looking at who's, like, writing it, and, like, this season was, like, all new lead writers, so I think that has to do with it.
I felt like, I honestly, I mean, I watch a lot of Saturday Night Live. I don't really miss an episode, because I enjoy it, and, like, I've been super impressed. Like, there's a different energy, I feel like, now. And I really feel like that has to do with a lot of, like, writer turnover they've had, but also, like, there's a lot more newer castmates who have really found their stride. Bowen Yang's been doing awesome. Sarah Sherman has done really well. Like, people like that. I love Please Don't Destroy. I think they are so funny, and I think having them in the like writing as well as doing the videos is like been really, really good for SNL. I just think there's like I said, there's a different energy to it, and I've been super impressed with like all of the new stuff they've been putting out. Who else? Marcelo is one of the new guys. I love him. I think he is so funny. So I think it's been like a really good season. It's been a very solid season, honestly.
I agree.
So that's how I feel.
You know, it wasn't a solid season. The reboot of Frasier.
Oh yeah, okay. So did you watch all of it?
Well, actually no. I watched. I think I only missed 1 or 2 episodes because I got bored. Yeah. But I made a point to watch the last episode because that was the one that Roz comes back in.
Slay.
And then she was only in it for like 1 scene. Yeah. And I was like, wow.
New Frasier spoilers coming up. So give us the rundown. Like, how do you feel about it? Review.
Well, the rundown, what they tried to do was kind of mirror the original concept in that now Frasier is moving in with his son to rebuild their relationship, and in the original he was moving in with his dad to rebuild their relationship. But it just seems super forced because, like, we just happened to land in Boston. Oh, you know who lives here? My son. I forgot. And say hello.
Like, all right.
And then Niall's son just happens to be going to Harvard, and that's like okay. And then Frasier just happens to also get a job at Harvard, and then he has this childhood friend that works at Harvard with him, or like they went to Harvard together, and now they're both teaching, but he's never once mentioned in the original series, so it's like they just made him up to like fulfill another character need. And then the plot is that Freddie had been living with his dead best friend's girlfriend and their baby named John. And they lost me in the second episode when they were playing Baby Shark for John.
Not great. Not great.
And then Frasier gets mad at Freddie for spending Christmas with her instead of him. Oh. And Roz is like, you're mad at your son for spending Christmas with his friend whose boyfriend just died this year. Anyway. So yeah, it's just, the plot didn't plot for me. Yeah. It just seemed like isolated jokes that didn't come together for like a better thing, which I feel like the original season the original series was really good at like starting off with like different jokes and then they all kind of like come together at the end. And you're like, whoa.
Does Lilith show up at all in the new one?
Just for Freddie's birthday.
Oh, slay. That's kind of fun.
But that I did laugh at that episode at like the very end because Frasier and Lilith like start making out on Freddie's bed because they're like having a sentimental moment, and then Freddie walks in. He's like, "Wow!" So that was funny. But yeah,
I know. Unfortunately I don't think it's bad if something's like nostalgia bait or whatever. But this felt like too forced for me. Like the whole thing, just like even the concept of like you said, like. It's just a way to kind of capitalize on people who really liked Frasier, the original one. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, I think it's one of those things where like the charm isn't there anymore because Frasier was so of its time in a lot of ways that it's like, I just don't know. And you have such fond memories of it that it's kind of like, I don't know why you'd want to, like, it would be like rebooting Friends. And I know they tried to do that, but it didn't work. So it was kind of like, it's the same concept to me, like, why are we doing this? Obviously, it's a cash grab, but it's also just, like... It's honestly, and I mean this with all the respect in the world as a person who also is watching Frasier and enjoying it, it seems like an odd one to try to continue on. You know what I mean? Which, arguably, Frasier was a strange spin-off from Cheers. You know what I mean? Like... It's so interesting how just, like, lasting the Frasier lore has been. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's
weird that it got as popular as it did for being a spin-off. I think maybe it helped that it was kind of a spin-off on a minor character, so it wasn't, like, taking people that people were really attached to already. Even though he had a lot happen to him and choose to. I think, not to spoil a little bit, but I think there was a setup at the end of Frasier that they could have just ran with, and they chose to like dismantle it because without spoiling too much for you, at the end of Frasier he is like gonna move for a different job, and he like is also maybe gonna go save this relationship he had who she also just moved, and he's like, well, maybe I should move too and try to find her anyway. And they could have just gone with that. Yeah. And then in the first episode of Frasier, they're like, where's Charlotte, Frasier? And he goes, oh, even though we had a 20-year-long relationship, she just decided to leave me. And it's like, you could have
That's just lazy. Yeah. I mean, like, I hate to be like, kill off the character, but instead of just being like, she just left me, like, just kill her. Yeah. And then that gives you the catalyst, though, to be like, oh my God, yes, this is why he's like struggling and going to move and going to like reconnect with his son. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where I'm like, if you're gonna go extreme, go extreme. Don't just be like, oh my gosh, why did she leave me? That makes no sense. You know what I mean? That's
also
shame.
In the new season, he's flying to Boston because he has just been at the dad's funeral because he died in real life. So they're like, we have to figure out how to do that. But that also seems slightly glazed over. Like they have like one quick emotional scene about it, where Frasier's like, wow, he was a policeman and you're a firefighter. You're helping people too. And then they just like move on. I don't know.
That is weird because the dad was such a big character. Like, I mean, one of the main characters. Like, it's strange that... But then I guess you could argue, like, the heart is never going to be there because people like Niles and Daphne are not a part of it. I think you can take a character and put him into a new situation, but you won't be able to replicate like the chemistry that cast had. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I don't know. Again, like it's one of those things where like if you're a Frasier fan, you're tuning in. I don't know if they're necessarily creating new fans out of this show. You know, because it doesn't make sense unless you kind of know what's going on. Like, if you know Niles and Daphne's son shows up, you're like, oh yeah, like haha, like yes, he kind of acts like Niles, he kind of whatever. That character doesn't make sense unless you are familiar with the show. You know what I mean? I don't know. Frasier. Also, it's funny that Kelsey Grammer's so weird. He's a weird guy. Yeah, and he's an odd choice for a leading man in a lot of ways. So it's funny that it's just kind of worked out for him. I don't know. Yeah. What was that movie he was in? On the plane? Money Plane?
Money Plane. Wait, if you want to hear that, go to Sunday Brunch episode 16.
Yeah.
I have my money.
Like, it's just so random. But yeah, I mean... Yeah, he's old now too, so it's like...
But he's not even that. He's only 4 or 5 years older than John. So it's like, really? Kelsey, take care of yourself.
I know, he looks so much older. That's kind of rough, honestly. Not great. Here's something, actually, we can talk about.
Down my dust.
Please do, yes. And here, you can have this.
Oh, okay.
I needed one cookie, and that was good. We'll cut all this. We'll put you... Oh, I don't know if it'll fit, actually. God. What is happening?
Can't get up. Wait, okay. There we go. All right. We'll leave that in.
We'll leave that in. Oh, I forgot that we were hiding this.
Okay.
Here's my feelings.
Yes.
And this is how I feel about a lot of, like, TV shows, but also just actors in general. I call it, like, the Tom Hanks effect of, like, Tom Hanks is definitely not, like, conventionally attractive. No offense, Tom Hanks. If you're listening, I'm sorry. But you know what I mean? Like, and they push him into all of these, like, rom-com roles. And where they're like, but it's Tom Hanks. You know what I mean? And, like, he's great, but... It's just funny that, like, all of these women... You're tricked into thinking that all of these women would be, like, gung-ho for Tom Hanks. That's how I feel about Kelsey Grammer. And I understand it's his show, and, like, having love interests pushes the story along and, like, has plot points. it's a weird person to have so many women date. Same thing as Jerry Seinfeld in Seinfeld. Like, the fact that Jerry was dating like a different woman each episode or whatever, I don't understand. It's the same thing with Kelsey Grammer. I'm like, people are allowed to be attracted to anybody. You can't help that. And I'm not saying he's like horrible, but it is strange how many women on that show were like, love Frasier. I love him. You know what I mean? It's a strange person to put into the center and be like, well, he is the love interest. You know what I mean? And you need to believe that all of these women are like in love with him. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
I always thought that, I think it's part of the character to be like a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
But it is weird how often he gets to be a hopeless romantic, I guess.
It's just, here,
We'll kick back.
Here.
Bring it in.
Oh.
Santa's laying back too.
He's kicking.
Oh. Christmas is here.
I'll survive. No, but it's like so many of these people, I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why? I don't get it. As a person who's attracted to men, as are you, like, Kelsey Grammer isn't attractive, and you can have your preferences, obviously. I don't understand. I don't understand. What do you think?
I think he got more attractive as Frasier went on because his hair stopped sticking out to the side. But even then, I wouldn't. Yeah.
You wouldn't. It doesn't do it for you. Well, it's also just like that thing where it was like that episode in very, very early season 1 where like his boss, the gay boss, is like, oh, Frasier just asked me on a date. That guy, who is not gay in real life, by the way,
right?
Very, very attractive, conventionally attractive. What I like to call like 90s attractive.
I would agree. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He
like,
is 90s attractive.
Yeah, like early, like in Friends, like early Joey Tribbiani is very 90s attractive, like that type of thing. So
like
that
people
character,
that are like, I want to boot up my early Microsoft computer and send you a love email.
What?
I don't know.
Yeah, I've said that. No, but it's like that, but like the gay boss character was like so attractive, and I'm like, even if Frasier was gay, oh my god! Like, and again, I don't judge anybody who they're attracted to. So weird though to be like, okay, so this is the most attractive character so far, and he's like, oh my god, I'm gonna like make out with Frasier tonight. That doesn't make any sense.
Also, even you just saying that, even the name Frasier, that's not like moanable. Oh my god,
I can't even think about that. No, but it isn't.
Yeah,
it's also just like, I don't know. Here's another plot point. I've always thought it was weird that as normal as their dad is, and as much of a man's man, like outdoorsy guy as their dad is, naming his kids Niles and Frasier.
Well, you find out why.
Really? Oh.
Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to find out for yourself?
Tell me, why not?
They were named after their mom's lab rats.
What the fuck?
Because there's an episode where they find her old notebook.
Was she a scientist?
She was a psychiatrist too. That's who they got it from. Yeah. So like she is very them.
Yeah.
And then Martin is just Martin.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's an episode where they find her old notebook, and they're reading through it thinking that it's about them. It's like, Niles constantly allows himself to be dominated by women, and Niles is like, oh my god, I do. And then it's like, Frasier always eats a lot more than his brother, or something, stuff like that. So then they start like making like life changes because they think that they're like, oh my god, mom is revealing all these things we didn't even realize we did. And then they read at the end, because Niles is like having a breakdown about it, and they like read it again, and at the end it's like, it goes, Frasier died today. My only consolation is that my first child will be born in a few months. So,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's actually kind of funny, though.
Their mom's name was Hester.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool name.
She was on one episode of Cheers.
Really? Oh, as Frasier's
mom, yeah.
Interesting. I
but
wonder...
like, they made a lot of changes, and then between them, because in Cheers, he tells everyone his dad is dead, and he's an only child, I think. So they like have to kind of retrospect that to make it fit. So like when Sam Malone from Cheers visits on Frasier.
Does he actually?
Yeah.
You shouldn't have told me that. I would have screamed. I would have genuinely screamed.
Well, you'll scream because it's a surprise.
I'll scream.
Anyway, but like, yeah, all of the Cheers cast except for Kirstie Alley come on Frasier because she's a Scientologist and she didn't want to do a show about psychiatry. Anyway, but yeah, when he comes on, he's like, Martin, it's nice to meet you. And Martin's like, yeah, I'm sure you heard a lot about me back at the bar. And Sam goes, actually, no, Frasier told me you were dead.
Which, in retrospect, seems like a very Frasier thing to say. So
yeah,
it kind of makes sense.
Works, yeah.
Well, what's funny is when Kirstie Alley did SNL, have you ever seen the clip of, like, she's like, oh, like, she's doing her opening monologue, and then the whole cast of Cheers comes and they start singing, like, the theme song to her. It's very cute. But speaking of SNL and Kelsey Grammer, I watched the Kelsey Grammer episode.
I started it. I need to finish it. Oh,
it's
was
fine.
it bad? Okay.
It's fine. It's not my fave. It's not my fave. He does it a few times. I'm pretty sure he hosts a few times, and so does the guy who plays Niles. He hosts a few times, and that one's actually pretty good. And they make a lot of jokes about how, like, he's the brother, he's not, like, the lead or whatever, so that's pretty good. But, no, yeah, Frasier that's interesting. So, like, you meet the mom, so is the idea, because I started it pretty recently, but, like, what's the timing of his mom dying, then?
I think it's, like, a few years before Frasier starts, so it's, like, it would be like during Cheers at some point. I don't remember if they address, because I haven't watched Cheers all the way through.
Yeah, but also
so I don't know if they
Frasier's
address
a
it.
Very minor character. So Woody Harrelson is also on Cheers for a second, which is very strange.
And he plays someone named Woody.
Crazy. That's crazy. It's just interesting because it's like Frasier could be just like, and it, for all intents and purposes, is just like a standalone TV show, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's weird to know that, like, its origins are on another beloved TV show where he's not, like, really a main character.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Frasier.
Does he move to Seattle in Cheers, or is that like something that they just establish in the middle of, like,
it's just in between,
like right before? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like in between him and Lilith divorce, and it's a whole thing. And that's why he moves. Is he like, well, I'm from here, and my life here is not really what I like anymore, so I'll move back.
Yeah.
And then he gets the radio show somehow, too, so... Yeah. So true. Who was doing this? Oh, so people were doing this in the Addams Family video. So true.
I love Frasier talking with you.
That could be a secondary podcast. Frasier talking.
Should we do a Frasier podcast where we go through each episode and break it down?
That would be good. We should do that. And then we should like rate our top 10s.
Yes.
Each.
Wait, can
I'd have to think about. I know which ones are like definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
Like one of my all-time favorites is in the last season. It's the Christmas episode of the last season, and without spoiling too much, Martin accidentally gets high. And he doesn't know. And Niles thinks he is high, and that's why Martin is acting weird, because like Niles is like, I've never rebelled and I'm gonna have a baby, I should get high. But then Martin eats the pot brownie on accident. Anyway.
Oh well. No, we should call it, what should it be called? I'm listening.
I think that already exists, because I'm listening to the Frasier podcast.
What's the Frasier podcast about?
Our Frasier podcast?
No, this one.
Frasier, I'm listening?
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it.
Fuck it. We hate them. They don't exist. There's actual active beef between the Frasier podcasts. Our Frasier, their Frasier. We could call it Frasier Talk, I guess.
Frasier Brunch. Or it could be
Frasier Heads.
It could be called Oh Dear God.
Oh yeah.
He says that a lot. Or Sherry Niles.
Sherry Niles.
Have you ever had Sherry? I think we talked about this.
I haven't, but I've heard. Yeah, isn't that a small? What is sherry?
I think it's a wine that you typically cook with.
Is it a mulled wine of some sort?
On the show it always looks kind of lighter, like a white.
Oh, interesting.
Wine. But I don't know. I haven't had it.
Maybe we should try it.
There's another joke I want
Okay,
to tell you.
go ahead.
But it's slight spoiler.
That's okay.
Slight spoiler. But at one point in the show, Martin has a girlfriend named Sherry that Frasier and Niles really dislike. She plays the banjo. She's very like not what they're all about. And then when Martin and Sherry break up in an episode, when Niles comes over, Frasier goes, "Niles, I'd offer you Sherry, but I'm fresh out." And then they chest bump. Anyway.
Jesus Christ.
And then the other gag that they carried over from Cheers. On Cheers, there's a character who he always talks about his wife, but you never see her in the whole show. And that's what they did with Maris, Niles' wife,
Yes.
is you'll never ever see her. And her description gets increasingly weirder. And there's one episode where they're all on a boat, on a cruise, and Niles goes, "Oh my God, Maris is here." And then they for some reason, I forgot, they hide in her bathroom, and Roz is looking through a crack in the door. She's like, "I think she goes, I think she just left. I don't see her anymore, but I just see a coat rack. It wasn't there before." And Frasier goes, "Look closer. Is the coat rack moving?" And she goes, "Oh my God."
That's horrible. Yeah, so you're never revealed it's never revealed who Maris is. We never see her.
Yeah, you just hear all about oh, she has no saliva glands, so she has her servants down licking envelopes. I don't know. It's just weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, every time, it's funny that it's Maris seems to be kind of disliked by everybody, even her own husband.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad. Also, Maris is a crazy name.
There's a lot of names. Niles, Maris, Frasier.
Martin.
That's true. Freddie. Whoa. Eddie. Freddie and Eddie.
Yeah. No, okay, boom. Boom. Frasier talk.
Yeah.
Chants are so boring.
Thank you.
Well,
any closing words, final thoughts?
Love each other. Kiss everyone you come in contact with. Frasier forever.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Forever.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. May 2024 be much, much more than you ever could wish for.
Wow.